Brother, if you're under 40 and someone told you your 20s were the best years of your life, they just handed you a death sentence wrapped in a party invitation. Look around. The world screams that 18 to 30 is the peak. Hottest girls, endless energy, viral fame, six-pack abes, Lambos by 30. Instagram feeds drip with it. College movies sell it. Even your own mother repeats it. And almost every man who swallows that story wakes up at 37 divorced, broke, balding, scrolling dating apps at 2 a.m. while some silver-haired 45-year-old walks off with the 26-year-old he used to chase. That's not a coincidence. That's a design. 500 years ago, before TikTok, before feminism, before self-care and participation trophies, one man saw through the entire illusion. Niccolo Machiavelli, exiled, tortured, forgotten by history, wrote the coldest, clearest description of real power ever put on paper. And buried in his private letters is a truth so dangerous that today's gurus will never speak it out loud. Your 20s are not your prime. They are your training ground. Your real life, your money, your women, your unbreakable frame. The moment the world finally bends the knee doesn't even begin until 40. Most men will die without ever hearing this. Keep watching, and I'll prove it to you, line by brutal line. Straight from the prince himself. Open any app right now, and the lie hits you like cheap cologne. 20-4-year-old entrepreneurs on yachts. Shirtless gym brothers pulling models in Miami. Travel influencers living their best life in Bali with a laptop and a smoothie. The caption always reads the same: 27 and never been happier. The algorithm rewards it. Girls like it, your old high school friends share it. And deep in your gut, you feel the clock ticking. That's the myth in its purest form. Youth is king. Energy, looks, and possibility peak before 30, and everything after is slow decline into dad bod, mortgage, and Sunday night dread. Now fast forward 8 years for the same guys. The yacht was rented by the hour. The business collapsed when the crypto winter came. The model left for a music producer with a verified check. At 35, he's posting grateful for the journey from his childhood bedroom, paying child support on a salary job, while his hairline retreats faster than his ambitions. He still believes his 20s were the peak, because admitting anything else would force him to confront the void. This isn't bad luck. It's the plan. Society needs you reckless and approval-seeking between 18 and 35, exactly when you have the most raw power to build something dangerous. So it pumps you full of porn at 14, video games at 16, student debt at 19, and an endless dopamine drip of likes and matches. Maturity is framed as boomer energy. Responsibility is cringe. Saving money is for losers. Lift, grind, slay, but never, ever sit still long enough to turn your energy into real, concentrated power. The result? An entire generation of men who hit 30 with the emotional development of teenagers and the net worth of a PlayStation controller. They're easy to tax, easy to divorce, easy to replace. And when the crash finally comes, they look in the mirror and whisper the lie one last time. At least I had my 20s. But what if the game was rigged from the start? What if your 20s were never meant to be the main event, only the brutal audition? Machiavelli already knew the answer, and he wrote it while staring at the same human nature we're drowning in today. Niccolo Machiavelli didn't waste ink on feel-good platitudes. Exiled, broken on the rack, watching his beloved republic rot from the inside, he wrote only what he saw. Human beings are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous. And real power, the kind that makes kingdoms rise and enemies kneel, does not belong to the young, the beautiful, or the loud. It belongs to the man who has stared into that abyss long enough to stop flinching. In chapter 17 of The Prince, he drops the hammer. Men are less hesitant about offending someone who makes himself loved than someone who makes himself feared. Modern gurus twist this into be high value and abundant, but Machiavelli is colder. He is saying love is fragile. Fear, properly calibrated, is permanent. And you do not learn the exact temperature of fear. Enough to command, not enough to create martyrs. from seminar weekends or pickup boot camps. You learn it across decades of betrayal, watching friends sell you for a better title. Women trade you for a richer passport. Employees smile while sharpening knives. Turn to the Discourses on Livy, Book 3. Chapter 8. Machiavelli praises the Roman practice of appointing dictators only after they had passed 40. Why? Because young men are more impetuous, more easily carried away by their passions. A man under 40 is still drunk on hope. He believes loyalty exists, that love conquers all. That reputation is built on being good. By 40, if he has paid attention, he has been the hero who got spat on, the nice guy who finished last, the captain who trusted the wrong lieutenant. That pain is the tuition. The diploma is cynicism tempered into clarity. Machiavelli himself was 50 when he wrote The Prince. 50. Broke, in a village no one remembers, dictating the darkest playbook in history to a friend by candlelight. He had nothing left to lose, and therefore nothing left to hide. That is the moment a man finally sees human nature plain. Selfish, short-sighted, and utterly predictable once you stop wishing it were otherwise. The modern world panics at this timeline. It wants you potent and obedient at 25, not sovereign at 45. Because a 45-year-old who has read the room for 2 decades, who controls his fear and other men's desire, who knows exactly when to smile and when to ruin someone quietly, that man cannot be herded. Your 20s gave you muscle and hunger. Your 30s will try to break you. Only the man still standing at 40, stripped of illusion, possesses what Machiavelli called virtue, the cold, flexible strength to turn fortune into empire. And that, brother, is the starting gun most men never hear. Here's the revelation they'll never put on a motivational poster. For the man who refuses to waste his life, 40 is not the beginning of the end. It is the end of the beginning, and the moment the game finally tilts in his favor. Testosterone? Yes, total T drops maybe 1% a year after 30. Big deal. Free testosterone and receptor sensitivity often hold or even climb in men who lift heavy, sleep deep, and stay lean. Meanwhile, every other lever of real power explodes upward. Status, compound interest, promotions, equity, networks, and reputation all hit escape velocity around 40. The 28-year-old trust fund crypto bro can flash rented watches. The 45-year-old who quietly built an 8-figure business owns the room before he speaks. Money. The average millionaire in America reaches 7 figures at age 49, not 29. 49. The data doesn't lie. Frame. 20 years of being lied to, cheated on, passed over, and double-crossed forges a frame that no amount of abundance mindset seminars can fake. By 40, the awakened man no longer asks for respect. He radiates it like heat. Sexual market value. Look at the classic SMV charts. Yes, the ones that trigger the entire internet. Female peak is brutally early, 22 to 26. Male peak, for the man who maximized, is 38 to 50. Why? Because women evolved to choose for provision and protection, not just jawlines. A calm, dominant, resource-rich 45-year-old with scars and stories triggers deeper, more primal attraction than any pretty boy with 800K Instagram followers and $38 in his checking account. History is littered with proof. Julius Caesar was laughed at as a broke, effeminate dandy until past 40. At 42, he crossed the Rubicon and turned Rome into his personal chessboard. Augustus was a sickly 19-year-old when Caesar died. He seized total power at 36 and ruled as god-king until 76. Cato, the elder, first entered the Senate at 41 and spent the next 5 decades terrifying Rome's elite. Modern era? Ray Kroc was a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman when he turned McDonald's into an empire. Sam Walton opened his first Walmart at 44. Colonel Sanders franchised KFC at 65. In the seduction underground, the most feared players are Silver Temple 45 to 55-year-olds who walk into clubs and leave with the hottest girl, while the 25-year-old TikTok dancers watch in stunned silence. They don't chase. They choose. This isn't theory. This is biology meeting reality. Women in their sexual prime want excitement. Women in their relationship prime want security wrapped in dominance. Only age delivers both at scale. The hidden truth is simple and savage. Nature gives men 2 decades of raw aggression, then rewards the tiny minority who survive with something far more lethal: strategic patience, calibrated cruelty, and the quiet certainty that comes from knowing exactly how the world actually works. Your 20s were the storm. Your 30s are the forge. 40 is the morning you step out of the fire, carrying weapons no young man can even imagine, but only if you refuse to stay a boy. Most men arrive at 40 broken, bitter, and broke. The awakened arrive armed. The difference is everything. Machiavelli never promised life would be fair. He only promised that fortune is a woman, and if you wish to master her, you must beat her when necessary. Your 20s and 30s are that beating. Every rejection, every business that collapsed, every girl who left you for a richer or taller guy, every friend who vanished the moment you stopped being useful. None of it is random cruelty. It is Fortuna throwing you against the rocks, again and again, to see what you're made of. Most men shatter. They learn the wrong lesson. The world is cruel, so I'll play it safe. By 35, they're married to a depreciating asset, working a job they hate to pay for kids who don't respect them, secretly jerking off to memories of when they still had hair and hope. They become the reliable beta provider, quiet, compliant, and completely expendable. Their suffering didn't make them stronger. It just made them tired. The awakened man learns the right lesson. Picture 2 35-year-old versions of you standing at the crossroads. Path 1, the broken one. He chased comfort too early. Got the good girl at 27. Locked her down with a ring and a mortgage. Told himself the fire in his gut was just immaturity. Now he wakes up at 3 a.m. while she scrolls other men's profiles, calculating how many years until the kids are 18 and he can finally breathe. His body is soft, his bank account is joint, his balls are in her purse. He survived Fortuna only to become its prisoner. Path 2, the lion. Same betrayals, same bankruptcies, same nights alone, wondering if he was unlovable. But every time Fortuna knocked him down, he got up slower, angrier, smarter. He lifted heavier, saved more, studied people instead of trusting them. He let the pain cauterize the boyish need to be liked. By 35, his eyes are calm, because nothing surprises him anymore. He has money that doesn't need explaining, a body that still turns heads, and a silence that makes rooms lean in. Women 15 years younger feel it across the bar, and don't know why their pulse quickens. Other men feel it, and instinctively lower their gaze. Same starting point. Same storms. 2 completely different animals. The crucible is invisible because no one announces it. There is no ceremony when your father dies and you realize no one is coming to save you. No trophy the night she leaves and you finally understand hypergamy isn't a theory. Just quiet moments of agony that either hollow you out or forge you solid. Machiavelli again. Men hesitate less to injure someone who makes himself loved than someone who makes himself feared. The beta learned to be loved and got injured anyway. The lion learned to be feared, not loud, not violent, just untouchable. And now injury hesitates before it even approaches. Your 20s and 30s are not your life. They are the fire that decides whether you enter your 40s as prey, or as the hunter the world suddenly realizes it created. Choose wrong. And 40 is when the decline begins. Choose right. And 40 is the day the leash finally comes off. Welcome to the most sophisticated pacification program ever built. Endless. Frictionless dopamine engineered to keep you a boy forever. Pornhub at 4K 120 FPS. Twitch streams 24/7. Tinder swipes that never run out. OnlyFans girls calling you king for $9.99. PlayStation 6 with haptic feedback, so good you feel the headshots in your teeth. And when the guilt creeps in, the culture hands you a lavender-scented excuse called self-care. Take a bubble bath, bro. Journal your feelings. You deserve rest. Rest from what? From the terrifying possibility that you might actually become dangerous. the numbers are apocalyptic. In 2024, the average 18 to 34-year-old male spent more time gaming than working or sleeping. 35-year-old American men now have the same grip strength as 1985's 30-year-old women. Over 60% of men under 40 are single, yet porn revenue hit $17 billion, more than the NFL. And the divorce industrial complex thanks you for it. 2025 data shows men aged 3039 initiate only 12% of divorces. They're too numb to even leave. They just sit there bleeding cash, custody, and testosterone while the court calendar flips. Meanwhile, the 45-year-old who quit World of Warcraft in 2012, deleted Instagram in 2018, and spent 15 years stacking money, lifting iron, and learning when to speak and when to vanish, walks into the same bar. Same lighting, same music. The 28-year-old ex-girlfriend of the gamer looks up from her phone, feels something ancient stir in her spine, and within 20 minutes, she's laughing at his stories like she's 19 again. He doesn't even have all his hair. He just has presence. That's the exchange rate they never advertise. Trade 20 years of simulated achievement for 1 hour of real dominance. This isn't an accident. A population of perpetual boys is the perfect consumer. Impulsive, indebted, scared of silence, addicted to novelty, terrified of commitment. They don't rebel. They don't build parallel systems. They pre-order the next DLC and Venmo their ex-wife while telling themselves, "I'm healing." Machiavelli warned that a prince who makes himself soft will be despised. Today, they don't need to kill you. They just hand you a controller and a flashlight and let you kill yourself one harmless orgasm at a time. The Peter Pan plague is real. And the scariest part? Most infected men feel fine. They feel free. They feel finally living for themselves. Until one day they look up and realize the lost boys never grow wings. They just get older in Neverland, while the real pirates sail away with the treasure and the women. And the clock brother never stops. You now know the truth. The next 5 to 15 years are not for finding yourself. They are for forging the man who will own every room at 45. Here is the exact blueprint. Follow it coldly, or stay a spectator. Asterisk money game. Become quietly rich, not loudly flashy. Pick one high-leverage skill or business that scales: sales, coding, trades, e-commerce, specialized B2B. Work like a dog for 8 to 10 years. Live on 30 to 40% of income. Invest the rest in index funds, real estate, or your own cash-flowing asset. Target: liquid net worth of $1 to $3 by 40. Flash only when it serves reputation. Otherwise, stay gray man rich. Money is ammunition, never jewelry. Physical mastery. Build the body that signals dominance. Not Instagram lift heavy compounds 4 to 5 days a week, forever. Keep body fat under 15%. Sleep 8 hours. Sun exposure, 0 processed seed oils. At 40, you will outsprint and outlift most 25-year-olds while looking like you could break a man in half. Testosterone follows discipline, not age. Social calibration. Learn to read and steer rooms. Study people like Machiavelli studied princes. Spend 1 night a week in high-end venues, cigars, private clubs, charity galas. Watch who defers to whom. Practice calibrated silence, strategic compliments, and the gentle art of making powerful men want your approval. Speak 30% less than everyone else. Your scarcity becomes your aura. Outcome independence. Earn the need to be liked every year. Do one thing that risks total social rejection. Public speaking, cold approach, brutal honesty with a superior. The muscle that survives is unbreakable frame. By 40, no single woman, boss, or friend group will have the power to move your needle. Strategic cruelty. Master the velvet hammer. Learn to say no. To fire fast. To end relationships the day respect dies. Never raise your voice. Simply withdraw attention and access. People fear the man who can ruin them tomorrow and still sleep like a baby tonight. Use it sparingly. Once a decade is enough to etch your reputation in stone. Controlled reputation. Become a legend in the shadows. Let others speak about your wins. Never correct exaggerations. Disappear for months. Return stronger. Keep your enemies' list short and your victories quiet. A whispered sentence, "You don't say no to him," is worth more than 100 viral reels. Asterisk. Do this relentlessly from today until the morning you turn 40. You will not feel like a god at 30. You will feel tired, judged, and often alone. Good. That is the crucible working. But one random Tuesday at 42, a 26-year-old model will look across the table, lock eyes, and feel something she can't name. A room full of millionaires will wait for your opinion before they give theirs. And you will realize, with ice-cold clarity, that the boy who started this path is finally, completely dead. That is the day life actually begins. Start tonight. The alternative is to wake up at 45, still waiting for permission that will never come. You've seen it now. Clear as daylight. Life doesn't begin at 40 by accident, by luck, or by aging gracefully. It begins at 40, the precise moment you bury the boy and everything he believed in. Most men will reach that birthday still chasing likes, still negotiating for sex, still hoping someone finally sees their real value. They will die average, because they never chose to become extraordinary. You no longer have that excuse. Every second you waste after watching this is a deliberate vote for weakness. Every rep you skip, every dollar you blow, every night you numb out instead of build. You are choosing the soft, broken 45-year-old who watches younger, sharper men take everything he quietly resents. Or you choose the lion. The crucible is open. The path is laid. The next 5 to 15 years are yours to burn or to conquer. Look your future self in the eyes right now and answer one question. When you turn 40, will the world flinch when you walk in? Or will you still be waiting your turn? Choose. Then get to work. The rest of your life starts today.